Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we'll discuss on the first chapter of business process, which is Introduction to Business Process Re-engineering, the concepts and principles. So at the end of this chapter, you should be able to define what is BPR, the business process re-engineering, what are the keywords in the definition itself, and then you will need to know the 9 dimensions of business re-engineering, 7 warning signs of when re-engineering is the answer, and then we'll look at the creating the business case by looking at the necessity for change and the alternative to change. And then the last subtopic for this first chapter is the 5 critical success factors for business re-engineering projects. First thing first, let us take a look at what does it mean by business process re-engineering. All right. Okay. So here in the slide itself, it shows to you what does it mean by re-engineering first. So re-engineering is something to do with tossing aside existing processes and starting over. So it means that you will need to re-engineering involves enforcing change in the organization. You will tear down something people are used to and creating something new. All right. It is actually an act of recreating a core business process with the goal of improving product output, the quality, reducing costs, increasing the speed of the business process itself. So BPR is something to do with organization restructuring, process redesign, or in a layman term, it is working smarter. All right, and you are working smarter in the organization. That is business re-engineering. But business engineering is not a normal change. It is actually a radical change. All right, a radical change of how the work is done. Okay, maybe in terms of changes in terms of the policies and controls, systems and technology, the business practices, the rewards program, or the practice of rethinking and redesign the way the work is done. Okay, just like what I mentioned earlier, it is to better support an organization's mission, reduce costs, increase speed, and improve the quality of the processes of the work done. So that is business process re-engineering. So based on the textbook, business process re-engineering is defined as the fundamental rethinking and radical redesign of business processes to achieve dramatic improvements in critical contemporary measures of performance, such as cost, quality, and speed. So in this definition, there are actually 4 keywords that you will need to remember, that you need to know, which is fundamental, radical, processes, and dramatic. So let's take a look at what does it mean by each of these keywords. All right. So fundamental implies that everything, every assumption, every reason, every activity, every changes that you want to make, is challenged by asking why it should be continued. If let's say you have a current current issues in the organization, and it impacted the quality of the of the product, the quality of the work done. Okay, so you should ask yourself, you should ask the team, you should ask, okay, why we should continue with that particular process. Okay, so if let's say the satisfaction of customer is the issue, okay, is a core issue, so you should redesign, you should re-engineer. All right. Okay, so the implication is that nothing should be accepted as sacred. Nothing should be accepted as it is. So over time, practices that were once required become obsolete and need to be removed. That's why we need this radical change, the re-engineering, okay, the restructuring, redesigning. All right. Okay. Next keyword is radical. Okay, so when we talk about business re-engineering, redesign, restructuring, it is a radical change. Okay, do not try to improve the existing situation. Invent completely new ways of accomplishing work. So you will recreate. All right, you will recreate something new. Okay, leaving the old way of doing things. Okay, so that is radical. Okay, and then the third keyword is dramatic. Okay, do not use business process redesign to obtain only marginal improvement, only very minimal improvement. We want to aim at a very high improvement, at order of magnitude improvements, 10 times as compared to previously. So if the marginal gains 5 to 10% are the goal, then continuous improvement is more appropriate path than re-engineering. So we want it to be 100% or 90% marginal gains, for example. Yeah, so it should be dramatic. That's why we call it as a radical change. And then the last keyword is process, which is focusing on the business processes instead of organizational structure. So we have to focus on the business processes itself. Okay, it involves the analysis of the company workflows. Okay, processes that are inefficient. Okay, you have to figure out ways to get rid of them and change the business process. Okay, so that's about the what is business process re-engineering. So you have to remember we have 4 keywords for this business process re-engineering, which are fundamental, radical, dramatic, and process, so that you know on how to define what is business process re-engineering.